Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Saturday, the 20th of June. I think I forgot to turn myself up. So, today is the summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere. And also, it is a observance or an Uposatha day for us. So, okay, I see 3 thumbs up. 3, this we call Anjali. 3 Anjalis. 2 thumbs up. So yeah, today is our Uposatha day, and also it happens to be the summer solstice. And I think we're expecting a bit of rain today. Let's see. 50 people. How is everyone this morning? You will, a few people in the chat noted that Bhikkhu Bodhi right now is giving some commentary on the Anguttara Nikaya. So I was just talking to some friends yesterday morning, and they were commenting on how busy they are. There's such a plethora of teachings available right now online. So choices. So if anyone wants to go tune into that, I won't hold it against you. On some level, I myself would like to, but I have duty here and a commitment. So, but yeah, if seriously, if you do, this is recorded, you could come back. So you'll just miss the connection of being here live for the morning coffee stream. So, and whatever that's worth to you. So yesterday, Mahisha, I hope I've said that correctly, Mahisha, who lives in Sri Lanka and can't join us live each morning, watches the coffee stream later in the day. He sent me something related to this contemplation on sound that we were sharing the other day. And Mahisha every day listens to the stream and goes through and creates timestamps for the different themes that I put in the comments, or the the description of on YouTube every evening. So a great, we owe him a great debt of gratitude for taking the time to add that for people who want to come and visit later or revisit various themes and questions that kind of came up. So those get indexed in the evening time after our evening puja finishes. I come up and I do that before going back to my hut for the evening. So thank you, Mahisha, for your daily dedication to providing that. I think it's a nice offering. And anyways, yesterday he sent me this wonderful little passage on listening and contemplating sense contact that I thought I would share with you all this morning. It comes from Bhikkhu Yanananda, who's this venerable Sri Lankan monk who passed away a few years ago, but he left behind a very great collection of teachings. I discovered some of his early work when I was a young monk. The Magic of the Mind, in particular, and what was the second book? Concept and Reality were favorites amongst several of the young monks, not just the young monks, but several of the monks at Wat Pananachat when I was a young monk. So, mhm. Holly has a question. What is a timestamp? Well, if you look in one of the previous days, I don't know why that bell's going off, but Holly, if you look in the previous days YouTube description, there's a feature called chapters, and there's a little short code for the various times that different things happen in the stream. And then YouTube breaks it up into little chunks on the play bar so that if you go into that and click on one of those, it will jump you straight to a particular theme or question that's being asked and answered. So it's a very useful feature. And I started adding those maybe a couple weeks ago when YouTube announced that feature. So anyways. So I thought I would read this little contemplation that Mahisha sent me. It's very nice and mostly agrees with what I said. Let's see. How about this? People hear me now? This is what I get for trying something on the fly. I'll wait until people give me confirmation they can hear me. Yes? Okay. So yeah, this is a out of a collection from Bhikkhu Yanananda. And it's a beautiful just little contemplation on sound. Listen to the beat of the eardrum. The most fascinating of all musical instruments is the eardrum. But we rarely take time off to listen to the beat of the eardrum. Next to the eye, the ear is the biggest source of distraction in our lives. Every time we sit down to enjoy a spell of quietude, we are dragged by the ear and forced to listen to many things that distract us. Instead of searching for an earplug in such a situation, we could, for a change, listen to the beat of the eardrum. But how? The beat of the eardrum is usually drowned by the chatter of the mind about the sounds. Whether it's euphony or cacophony, the mind grabs a talking point, and there we are, praising and cursing. If we switch off the mind's commentary, we can listen to the beat of the eardrum it strikes only three notes: come, stay, and go. The more we listen to it, the deeper we go into these three notes. The conflict between euphony and cacophony is no longer there to distract us. We are now listening to the rhythm of nature, attuning ourselves to reality. That way lies peace sublime. Okay, so again, that was a short reflection from Sri Lankan venerable monk Bhikkhu Yanananda, who is now passed away. I like in particular his concept of three notes. Between euphony and cacophony, there are three notes: come, go, stay. And one of the things that for me is interesting to explore in listening to sound and watching over the mind is that sort of dynamic of push-pull, and how the mind is attracted and repulsed, or when it finds something pleasing, wants to rest and stay there. But also just the kind of pull to fabrications that comes. It's very difficult to let there just be sound in the hearing, like just to peel it back to its essence, or the bare experience of the natural phenomena of listening and hearing. So there's a few suttas where the Buddha talks and gives encouragement. One to Venerable Bahia, I think. In the sight, just let there be the seen. And in hearing, just the sound. And it's easier said than done. So, but an interesting challenge to practice. I should look at that. I came across one of those suttas the other day. Somebody sent me something from an Ajahn Amro talk, and he was commenting on that. So good morning, Stan. What does it mean, the sound of the eardrum? Well, I think he's doing something a little bit clever there, because he has this idea of these three notes of come, stay, go. And so instead of just referring to hearing or the faculty of ear consciousness, he's talking about the sound of the eardrum, because it's an instrument. So that's my take on what he's doing it with, that sort of reflection there. So I'm pretty sure he's talking about hearing. and ear consciousness. So, but those three notes, come, stay, go, that's not yet at just the bare essentials of listening. Those are sankharas. There must be some volition that constellates those impulses. So, and this euphony and cacophony, um, that's it's a beautiful way to talk about liking and disliking, or it might be a reference to Vedana, the feeling affect that accompanies sense contact. I should say that accompanies all sense contact. Some things strike us as pleasing, some as dissonant or painful. So, good morning, June. Sitting under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, cacophony becomes euphony. Yeah, I have not had that experience, but uh, my friend Ajahn Achalo has spent, I think, a couple thousand hours now sitting under the Bodhi tree, practicing. He's had a series of determinations to practice under the Bodhi tree, and Ajahn Yanako joined him for a good spell one time, and I remember talking to him about it, and it sounds like quite the challenge. I have heard audio. It's in terms of sound, it's not the most peaceful place, although some of the sounds are very cheery. There's pilgrims coming and chanting from all over the world in all kinds of different styles. Oh. Good morning, Zuri. Abhidhamma recommendations. No, I'm not the Abhidhamma guy. I've read very, very little of the Abhidhamma. I would suggest tuning into Ajahn Punadamo. Of the various monks in our tradition that live in North America, he's probably the one that has the most interest in understanding the Abhidhamma, and I believe he talked about it recently. So, Bhikkhu Bodhi wrote a very short, I think it's Bhikkhu Bodhi. It might have been one of his teachers at BPS that wrote I think it's called A Comprehensive Guide to the Abhidhamma or something. It's a very short overview. So, Kid Code, good morning. Come, stay, and go as three types of feelings. Come, stay, go. I don't think I would read that as feeling as in Vedana, a feeling affect as I call it. Although, oftentimes what's going on there is with the perception of pleasantness, then as feeling that with that sort of feeling as condition, uh, tanha arises. So some sort of desire is arising, is how I read those three notes. It's not as elemental as just pleasant, neutral, or painful. There's a pull, right? Come, come. So Ajahn Sona has this spatial analogy for the five hindrances. And the first hindrance of kamachanda, or sense desire, is like come. It's like trying to pull things towards you. And then the second, ill will, or vyadapada, is pushing away. So, there's things we're trying to pull towards us, and there's things that we're trying to push away. So, Jacob, this is kind of a more general question. So, could you offer any insight on how COVID has affected ordination procedures? Are monasteries still taking individuals, to your knowledge? I would like to ordain sooner rather than later. Yeah, it's slowed down or restricted somewhat, entering into monastic life, but there's still the opportunity there. The communities just have to be careful bringing somebody on. So, the typical pattern in many of our monasteries, Jacob, for people that are interested in ordination, is they need to come spend a little bit of time just as a guest. And that may be a little difficult with what's going on right now in some monasteries, although many of them have some level of openness to, if the conditions are okay in the local area, in the community, but one needs to come for a longer period of time. They have to be willing to self-quarantine. And so you need to be coming for a bit longer stay than normal. And then generally people, after that initial sort of stay, can then rearrange to come back for a longer stay if it works out well. And one wants to pursue ordination. So I think the short answer is it just maybe slows it down a little bit, but it hasn't completely shut off the opportunity that's there in the communities that have space. So, Ajahn, could you speak about cultivating samadhi, jhana, with metta? Yeah, a little bit. Metta can be a very suitable vehicle or practice for cultivating jhana. The process is much the same. Just talking about the basics of it. One needs to cultivate metta, and what might even sort of say is the metta nimitta, or the sign that one is focusing on in the cultivation of metta, and then through a process of nurturing, strengthening, and developing awareness, a holistic awareness on the sign of the meditation. So that could be an image, it could be a feeling tone in the body that's associated with loving kindness, brought to a profound sort of state, so that one can start to overcome the hindrances and arouse the jhana factors of vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata. So it's entering into jhana, like those factors have to not only be aroused but brought to maturity. So one's giving oneself to the sign of metta, and that is how you are focusing the mind in the metta meditation, and then that kind of grows and develops. So, and it could be the uh, one just directs the mind to the arousing of a feeling, emotion of loving kindness, and it grows and suffuses mind and body, and one's whole awareness and consciousness kind of rests with that, settles with that, becomes absorbed into that in a way that overcomes the hindrances, uh, moves towards this kind of stillness of mind, and piti sukha arise, and the mind becomes uh, firm or whole or steady in the perception of that as the sign. So it need not be complicated. So, I say be, thinking if one is working with that, it's still good to keep that sort of framework of the five hindrances and the five jhana factors in mind, and then be sensitive to what it is that is defiling or hindering the meditation from moving to a deeper state of samadhi, and then gradually adjust, cultivate conditions to develop that. So, Karen, thank you. That is the book I was thinking about, The Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma, edited by Bhikkhu Bodhi. So, I've tried to read that a couple times. I got part way through it, but many of my teachers and friends oftentimes recommend that book. As if you're interested in Abhidhamma, it's not a bad place to start. So I've heard. So, good morning, Nadine. So let's see, back to sound contemplation. It could be the arising, passing away. Arising, existing, and passing away, a formula commonly used to describe the experience of impermanence. Come, stay, go. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know that I'm convinced, but I like that. So. Good morning, Samrit. Oh, I see you're sharing that with Zuri. 8-week course in Abhidhamma. If you're interested, I can share the details. Okay. So, okay, well, I think I'm going to leave it at that today, friends. Um, I don't see any more questions. A few less people than normal. And I'm feeling maybe a little less reflective than I was yesterday. But maybe before we close here. Good morning, Holly. Yesterday I felt restless. I sat in the forest and focused on the sounds as you suggested. It was very nice when the unwanted sounds fade away and become unnoticed. Yeah. I think practicing in natural settings with that sound contemplation is very interesting, but I find it interesting anywhere. It's interesting in the city. It's interesting in the human-built environment. We don't often notice like how this judging and liking and disliking is going on, like outside of our awareness, almost perpetually. We're hearing things, and I like that, I don't like that. So that's why it can be very interesting exercise just to try to focus on sound and strip it down to the essential experience of it, and watch over the mind and its reactions. So, all right, I'll leave it at that for today, friends, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good day. It is the summer solstice, the longest day of daylight. The greatest amount of daylight we'll get. So enjoy it, and we'll see you tomorrow.